We previously looked at dynamic input mode when we looked at our status bar and our drafting settings. It's controlled down here. Dynamic input is currently on, and if I right click on it and go into the dynamic input settings, I'm sure you'll recognize that particular dialog box from previous videos. Now, once all those settings are set up, how do we utilize dynamic input effectively? So I'm just going to cancel that. We've looked at various ways of using dynamic input just generally, but what about with something like an AutoCAD electrical command? I'm going to zoom in on this area here. I'm in Drawing Demo 02 again in the project Demo 07, and I'm going to zoom in here. So I've got a little bit of space between those wires. I'm going to go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, and I'm going to go to the Insert Wires, Wire Numbers, and I'm going to click here, and then click on the Wire command. As soon as I come in, the dynamic input is prompting me to specify where that wire is going to start. But look down at the command line as well. I've got wire type and also show connections. So if I've got a connector or a PLC, I could just type X or click on that command there on the command line, and AutoCAD Electrical would show me the connections. But what I really like about this is it's there in front of you. Dynamic input is part of what they call heads-up design from Autodesk. And the trick is you're looking at your design, but you're also getting prompted about your design by having dynamic input switched on. You're not having to look at the command line all the time. It's a bit like watching a foreign movie where you're looking at the subtitles at the bottom of the screen rather than watching what's actually happening in the movie itself. Now, you'll notice as I move around like this, I can specify where the wire starts. You'll notice I've got those prompts on the command line, wire type or show connections. So if I right click, I can go to wire type there on the shortcut menu. That'll bring up the set wire type dialog box. And at the moment, I'm using red 14AWG, and there's the layer name. So let's change that. Let's go for a different one. Let's go for, let's say, that one there. I'll go for blue and I'll OK that. So I've changed the wire type. So now I click. And all I've got to do now is drag where I want that wire to go and click again. And you'll notice this time it's blue because I've changed the setting. So I press enter and that's done. And as soon as I press enter and finish that particular piece of wire, AutoCAD Electrical is prompting me via dynamic input to specify the wire start for the next one. Now, dynamic input also gives you another way of getting to your shortcut menu. I don't have to right click. Can you see on the dynamic input prompt, it says specify wire start or, and there's a funny little symbol just before the coordinate readout there. That is actually prompting you to hit the down arrow on your keyboard. So there is actually a keyboard input available as well. So if I press the down arrow, you can see there that I get another menu. So there's another way of utilizing your dynamic input in AutoCAD Electrical. You'll notice this with AutoCAD. There's normally 3 or 4 ways of doing the same thing. And all I've got to do here is select Scoot, Wire Type, or Show Connection. So if I click on Wire Type there, it's the same dialog box again, and I pick the wire types. Let's go back to our red one, click on OK, and this time when I place the wire, drag, click, it's the red wire type, enter to finish, and there's the prompt again. So that dynamic input is very, very useful, especially with that down arrow key, because all the menu is there on screen in front of you. You don't have to right click, you can use the keyboard instead. More importantly though, you can also use the command line. So I can come down here and click on wire type here, and again I get the set wire type dialog box. As I said, there's at least 2 or 3 ways of doing things in AutoCAD Electrical. Utilize your dynamic input and make sure your dynamic input is always on. It's so much easier to work because you see all the prompts on the screen in front of you.